She did whatever I wanted. Those words echo like a forbidden confession, sharp and impossible to ignore. Imagine hearing that about someone you've idolized, someone the world has watched transform from Hollywood starlet to a global symbol of modern royalty. The shock alone is enough to make you question everything you thought you knew about Meghan Markle, about Harry, and about the private lives of people we've only ever seen through carefully curated images and media headlines. But what if the truth behind that glamorous facade was far more scandalous, far more entangled with power, money, and influence than anyone could imagine? What if private yacht nights, nights meant to be secret, exclusive, and untouchable, were not just luxurious retreats, but stages for arrangements that few in the world even knew existed? Before we continue, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell for updates. Let me take you back. Picture a yacht cutting through the calm waters under a crescent moon. The ocean stretches infinitely in every direction, serene and deceptive. On board, there is laughter, clinking glasses, and the soft hum of discreet conversation. But beneath the glamour, something else is brewing. It's the kind of secret that, if exposed, could shake a family, disrupt public perception, and redefine everything we've been told about royalty and celebrity. And it is in that setting that Meghan Markle found herself navigating a world most people can only dream about, a world of billionaires, princes, and unspoken agreements that carry consequences far beyond what we can see. Have you ever wondered how far someone is willing to go when fame, power, and desire collide? Would you cross boundaries for access, for influence, or for survival in a world where every move is watched and every word can be weaponized? These are not idle questions. They are the very questions that frame what happened on those private yacht nights, where arrangements were made, favors were exchanged, and even those closest to Meghan, including her husband, Prince Harry, had no idea what was happening behind closed doors. This story isn't just about one woman. It's about the collision of worlds, Hollywood glamour meeting royal protocol, wealth meeting ambition, secrecy meeting public scrutiny. And it all starts with the Saudi crown prince, a man whose power and influence extend beyond borders, whose presence commands attention, and whose private interactions are legendary, often for reasons that the world only hears about after the fact. He is not just a figurehead in this tale. He is a catalyst, a provocateur, someone who wields influence in ways that most people cannot comprehend. And it was he who revealed, in an unprecedented admission, the nature of these paid yacht nights. A revelation that has left even the most seasoned royal observers stunned. Now, before you jump to conclusions, consider the stakes. Meghan Markle is no stranger to controversy. From the moment she stepped into the royal spotlight, she was scrutinized, analyzed, and often vilified in ways that seemed disproportionate to her actions. But the private world that this story uncovers is not about tabloids or public opinion. It's about interactions, decisions, and moments that were never meant to be exposed. And when they were, by the crown prince himself, the shockwaves were immediate. Harry, blindsided and caught in the crossfire, faced a personal and familial reckoning that has since defined his relationship with both his wife and the institution he was born into. So how did it all begin? How did a Hollywood actress find herself entangled in nights of luxury, secrecy, and influence so potent that it could challenge the very narrative of her public life? To answer that, we need to start at the intersection of wealth and access, where private yachts aren't just about relaxation. They're symbols of power, control, and negotiation. Every invitation to such a yacht is an invitation into a world where rules are different, where favors are currency, and where what happens on board can remain hidden from the world for decades, or until someone powerful decides it should be exposed. Imagine the moment Meghan first stepped onto that yacht. The sea breeze carrying the scent of wealth and indulgence. The soft lighting reflecting off polished wood and pristine decks. Laughter echoing in a space designed to impress, but also to conceal. In that moment, she entered a microcosm of a world few ever see, a world governed by rules that are whispered rather than spoken. Here, charm can be a weapon. Influence can be bought or bartered. And actions that might seem harmless on the surface can have consequences that ripple far beyond the horizon. And then, the crown prince appeared. a man whose very presence commands attention. Not just any attention, but a meticulous, calculated influence that could reshape situations with a single word or gesture. He didn't just observe. He engaged. He orchestrated. And in his own words, the interactions that followed were as much about negotiation and strategy as they were about personal connection. Meghan, navigating her newfound royal identity, found herself in scenarios that challenged everything she thought she understood about agency, loyalty, and discretion. It's easy to forget that public figures, no matter how glamorous or iconic, operate in constrained worlds. Every action, every choice, is scrutinized and interpreted. But what happens when the public narrative doesn't match reality? What happens when the private decisions, the arrangements, the favors, the subtle power plays, contradict the story we're told through headlines, interviews, and public appearances? That's exactly what makes this tale so compelling, so shocking, and so emotionally charged. Because it forces us to confront a dissonance between perception and truth, a truth that, once revealed, has consequences not just for those directly involved, but for an entire network of relationships, reputations, and legacies. You might be asking yourself, why now? Why reveal this story today, when it could have remained buried in the private vaults of the wealthy and influential? The answer is as dramatic as the revelation itself. In the wake of ongoing media scrutiny, public fascination with Meghan and Harry, and a world increasingly obsessed with uncovering hidden truths, someone powerful decided it was time to speak. And what was revealed is more than scandalous. It's a direct challenge to the carefully constructed narratives we've consumed for years. It forces us to reconsider our assumptions about morality, loyalty, and the subtle exchanges of power that shape private interactions in the highest echelons of society. And what makes this revelation even more gripping is the human element. Harry, caught in the middle, unaware, blindsided. His perspective adds an emotional resonance that transforms the story from mere gossip into a narrative of betrayal, confusion, and heartbreak. We've seen him publicly wrestle with his role in the royal family, his love for Meghan, and the pressures of public life. But what we rarely see is the private turmoil that unfolds when trust is tested in ways that are unimaginable to most. Imagine the emotional shock of discovering that nights you thought were private, nights you assumed were intimate in their shared experience, were in fact entwined with arrangements and exposures you never consented to. And so, as we stand on the edge of this story, one question looms over everything. What truly happened on those private yacht nights? The answer is not simple. It is layered with intrigue, power dynamics, and decisions that carry implications far beyond the personal. It is a story that will challenge your assumptions, provoke your emotions, and leave you questioning the boundary between public image and private reality. By the end of this journey, you will have a front-row seat to secrets that have long remained hidden, and you will see how ambition, influence, and secrecy intersect in ways that few could ever predict. And yet, even as the narrative unfolds, one thing is clear. The consequences of those nights are only just beginning to be understood. What seemed like isolated, private encounters have reverberated across continents, affecting reputations, relationships, and the very institution of royalty itself. You think you know Meghan Markle. You think you've seen her on magazine covers, in interviews, walking red carpets, or smiling in royal photographs. But what if everything you've seen was only the surface? What if behind the glitz and the perfectly framed images lies a world most people could never even imagine? A world where yachts are not just vessels, but stages of influence. Where champagne isn't just a drink, but a symbol of power. Where billionaires, princes, and celebrities negotiate alliances, favors, and secrets in ways that can make or break reputations overnight. Welcome to the world of royals and billionaires, a world Meghan Markle stepped into, and where the rules are as fluid as the ocean beneath a private yacht. Let's start with the royals. We see them in their public moments. Attending charity events, waving from balconies, or posing in tailored suits and elegant gowns. But that is only one side of the story. Behind those smiles lies a complex web of expectations, protocols, and obligations. A single misstep can cascade into a scandal, and a single whisper can travel faster than a headline. Royals operate under pressure that is both historical and immediate. Centuries of tradition collide with the demands of modern media scrutiny. They must maintain a public image that aligns with the crown, yet privately, they are human beings with desires, insecurities, and impulses, sometimes dangerous, sometimes exhilarating, and sometimes utterly shocking. Now imagine layering that with the world of billionaires. Here, money isn't just wealth, it's influence. Every dollar, every investment, every gift carries a message, a subtle negotiation of power. These are people who have lived their lives where luxury is normal, where yachts are floating palaces, and where private parties are more than entertainment. They are instruments of networking and control. Invitations to these spaces are exclusive, and participation is not just about enjoyment. It is about entering a sphere where decisions ripple far beyond the moment. And when Meghan Markle entered this world, she wasn't just a guest. She was a player. Consider the analogy of a chessboard. Each guest, each host, each whispered conversation is a move. Every gesture, smile, or glance carries meaning. In this world, appearances are carefully curated, but reality can be far more complex. A laugh can be a negotiation. A toast can be a signal. And a night on a yacht can become a microcosm of power dynamics, influence, and secret arrangements that would make even the most seasoned observer pause. The yacht itself is symbolic. These are not simple vessels. They are floating kingdoms of indulgence. Polished decks reflect the moonlight, chandeliers hang even in open-air lounges, and the ocean provides a private, isolated stage. It is a space designed to impress, to conceal, and to enable discretion. On board, guests are shielded from the outside world, and the rules of society are often suspended. This is where personal ambitions meet opportunity, and where alliances can be formed or broken without witnesses. Except for those willing to observe, remember, and later reveal. And in the midst of this, Meghan was navigating more than luxury. She was navigating influence, perception, and expectation. Her rise from Hollywood actress to royal figure placed her in a unique position, a bridge between two worlds, each with its own rules and its own risks. In one world, she had fame and media attention. In the other, centuries-old traditions and the subtle, often ruthless, dynamics of wealth and power. The yacht nights were not just social events. They were intersections of those worlds. Every encounter was loaded with significance, every conversation potentially consequential. You might be wondering, what was it like for Meghan to enter such a space? Imagine stepping onto a vessel where everyone is polished, charming, and powerful. Every guest has influence. Every movement carries weight. It's intoxicating, and yet it's fraught with risk. One wrong glance, one misplaced word, and a reputation can be jeopardized. The thrill is undeniable, but so is the danger. This is the tightrope that Meghan walked, and it is precisely what makes the story so compelling. Few people command attention the way he does. The Saudi crown prince, a name whispered in boardrooms, dynasties, and power circles around the world, is more than a royal figurehead. He is a force of influence, a man whose wealth and decisions ripple far beyond borders, touching politics, business, and culture. To understand the private yacht nights with Meghan Markle, you have to understand him. Not just as a prince, but as a strategist, a provocateur, and a man who plays the world like a high-stakes chess game. And if you think his power is only ceremonial, think again. From the outside, he might appear to the public as another member of a royal dynasty, draped in traditional robes, attending formal ceremonies, and making speeches. But behind closed doors, the crown prince operates on an entirely different plane. He surrounds himself with advisors, elites, and influencers, people who operate at the intersection of wealth, politics, and global culture. Decisions that might seem simple or trivial in ordinary circumstances carry enormous weight in his world. The yachts, the private gatherings, the selective invitations, these are not frivolous indulgences. They are calculated opportunities, each designed to reinforce alliances, test loyalties, or extract influence. Imagine for a moment what it would be like to step into a room where every person is a player in a global game. Every word is measured. Every smile carries meaning. Every toast can signal allegiance or negotiation. That is the world the Crown Prince inhabits, and it is a world Meghan Markle entered when she first became connected with him. The stakes are dizzying, the consequences potentially immense. And yet, there is something magnetic about this environment, the allure of power, the thrill of discretion, the seduction of wealth and influence. What sets the Crown Prince apart is his ability to blend charisma with control. He can charm effortlessly, but he also observes meticulously. Nothing escapes his attention. Gestures, expressions, even unspoken tensions are all part of the landscape. Those around him may believe they are participating in a social gathering, an elegant evening on a yacht under the moonlight, but they are, in many ways, part of a subtle orchestration. Deals are made, favors are exchanged, and influence is wielded in a way that the casual observer may never detect. And then Meghan Markle arrived. Here was a woman already famous, already scrutinized, already navigating the pressures of royalty. To the Crown Prince, she was not just a celebrity or a royal consort. She was an entity with her own influence, charm, and social currency. In the context of his private yacht gatherings, she represented both opportunity and intrigue. Every interaction with her would be calculated, not necessarily in a manipulative way, but in a manner that acknowledged the power dynamics at play. Consider the yacht itself as a microcosm of his influence. Polished decks, luxurious cabins, and discreet lounges are not just about comfort. They are a stage, a controlled environment where interactions are amplified and observed. The ocean provides isolation, ensuring privacy, while the carefully curated guest list guarantees that everyone present operates within a framework of influence, expectation, and opportunity. On this stage, the Crown Prince is both host and conductor, shaping the environment in ways that few outsiders could comprehend.